The masses are asking for another blind date with a book video, and I thought, I have to oblige. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get into the corporate version of blind date with a book, because previously I've just been covering small businesses, Etsy shops, and TikTok sellers. But today, me and a little tiny hand, we're gonna deep dive into the corporate version of this. And when I mean corporate, I mean Walmart, Target, and Barnes & Noble. I will up front say that Barnes & Noble is less egregious at this, and I'll get to it in a second, but every store is different, whereas, we'll get to it. We'll get into it! Cheers, everybody. We have coffee as usual. I need it. Corporate always just has to come in and ruin everything and all the fun for the rest of us. They can't just stay over there and let us have the fun. They have to come in and barge in and ruin everything. Now, I actually wasn't going to mention this in the blind date series because I did buy one a while ago. I got the Walmart version because I was just walking and I always check the books out. I always have to visit the books and have fun, give him the wave and everything. Not the greatest selection of books at Walmart, I must say, but I saw this and had to get it. I thought I was going to make a short about it, but yada yada yada, and it just sat on my shelf. In terms of form and function, I think that Walmart did the worst. Do not buy these. There's only 4 of them. And I think that is what's missing in all the videos covering these, because as soon as these come out, everyone is making a video about, look at what I found, look at what's here at Target or at Walmart. People just go feral for these for no reason, because there's only 4 of them. So the chances are, if you get 2 of them, you're gonna get the same one. The chances are very high, but depending on the stock, of course, depending on the stock. One of our 4 secret romance books from a best-selling author awaits. Oh, and it says only at Walmart. Thank God, because I don't want anyone to be subject to this terrible thing. The biggest issue with this, and I don't know, you could probably already tell what it is, but basically the edge, you can just lift it. Like literally, you can just lift it and see what it is. Completely ruins the blind date experience. And I'm going to show you what the book I got, because who cares? It is Flawless by Elsie Silver. The issue, and why I say this is the worst one, I'm yapping a bit here, is that this is like a part of the cover. Like the wrapping is a part of the cover, so you can tell the spine, that should say Flawless by Elsie Silver on the back. The back is ruined. This is a terrible design. Oh yeah, and by the way, it is only stuck right there. You could hand a child this and they would be able to quality test it for you. They could tell you that this is a bad idea. This is terrible. So what I did was I just kind of folded that in, and then you kind of have a nice book, but that's the cover now. It's terrible, awful. And the back is still this and the spine is still that. What on earth were they thinking? So I don't know if they still do these. I really don't know how it works. Who knows? I'm gonna spoil all the books that they have because you don't need it. I'm trying to de-influence you. Just buy the books separately if you want to read them. And I think it's actually so funny that I got this one because it ties into my previous blind date video, guys. If you haven't seen the other ones, go check them out. I think I showed some pretty interesting stories, and don't you worry, I have more stories coming. This is just the corporate edition. I have the regular person edition coming soon, and I think I have found the worst one. Okay, the worst blind date is coming in the next one. I'm not even joking. I'm not being like Mr. Beast about it, okay? I'm telling you it's the worst one. I'm telling you it's the worst one. I dare you to try and find a better one than in the next video. Okay, I've spoken enough about it. Okay, so let me spoil the other 3 books. The Graham Effect by Elle Kennedy. I see Elle Kennedy books at TJ Maxx a lot. I peruse books everywhere. I have to visit them everywhere, okay? I don't just visit regular bookstores. I look at TJ Maxx too. Okay, we have Bridesmaid for Hire by Megan Quinn and Fragile Sanctuary by Catherine Cowles. All respectable books from what I can tell. So if you want them, there you go. No need to have an inferior product, because if you buy this versus the actual one, if you want to support the author, this is an inferior product, guys. I'm sorry to say. Do not buy these, bro. Can I say that? I think I can say that. Okay, moving on. If Walmart has the worst product design in terms of the blind date with a book, Target has the worst selection of books. Sorry, I'm getting heated because I can't stand corporate losers coming in and ruin everything for everyone. And the amount of people buying these is crazy. So Target has these wrappers or whatever, and I think they do this on a rotating seasonal level because I've seen someone's from the beginning of summer and the wrapping is different. Now that we're into fall, it has like these fall vibes, autumnal themes, which people have mistakenly thought that the books inside are gonna be autumn themed or fall season or cozy autumn vibes, which they're not. They have romance, adult, they have YA, romance, and thriller, which to be fair makes sense business-wise since those three categories are super popular. Let's start with probably the worst case scenario in this instance. Let's see what happened to Courtney Gutierrez. So Courtney gets 3 of the same book. Oops. Yikes. That's unfortunate. For future reference to anyone who does want to get one, I'm going to spoil all the books here, so please do not get them. If you like the books that I'm going to show you, just buy them separately. Heck, you can even get them at Target. Like, they literally sell the same book just down the shelf. Sometimes they have letters on the back, or on the price tags on the bottom it'll have like a letter A, B, C, D, so you can pick from that, but also the barcodes are different on the back. Target is not immune to the foolishness of a blind book. Okay, so I have this story from this poor girl. She accidentally gets a YA book.
I did just notice it is a YA, so like a young adult book. I don't read a lot of YA, but I'm also probably not reading the best ones. Let's be real. I'm probably not reading the best YAs. Maybe this will change that. Okay, so no way. I got my Return to the Walter Boys. This is not the first book in the series. So what am I supposed to do? Do I have to go buy like the first book of the series? Like, make it make sense.
I cannot believe that this is happening even on a corporate level, even on a mass big box scale. Who is deciding these? Who is making the decisions to put those in the wrappers? Who?
Make it make sense.
Oh my goodness. I cannot believe it. The books seem quite popular, at least, you know, that one does seem quite popular, but what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? Now, let me spoil the rest of the books, okay? We have, for the YA, it's Spur of the Moment by Juliana Smith, first in the series. We have Everything We Couldn't Say by Emma Scott. A First Time for Everything by K.L. Walter? I don't know. When we get into the romance is where the shenanigans begin, okay? We have a story from this creator named Emma.
I'm really nervous about this one because I feel like I have a lot more romance books. It looks like a fall book, so I'm like, oh, maybe it's not. Okay. Hold up. Okay, so first of all, it's not a book that I don't have this book. However, so it's King of Gluttony by Anna Huang. The problem is, I don't know if these books are like standalone books or if you have to read them in order, but I got book 6. Why am I getting book 6 in a series? Like, they should be standalone novels. Okay, I just looked it up. It says that King of Gluttony is able to be read as a standalone because it's a whole part of the Kings of Sin series. I just feel weird reading book 6 when I haven't even read the first one.
Who is confused at the book 6 of it all, okay? She's looking at it, she's like, this says book 6. What? Why? What? So she gets King of Gluttony, which technically is part of a series, but I'm kind of familiar with the series. I think I read King of Wrath. I think I read King of Wrath. I don't know. That it is part of a series, but it's kind of interconnected. They're part of the same world, different characters each book, but they are sort of interconnectedness between the characters. And from people who are fans of the series, I've seen them say that you should watch them in chronological. You should read them in chronological order. The characters may show up in further on in the series and you don't know who they are because it's assumed that you'll read them in chronological order. And I think also on Anna Huang's site it does kind of say that you read them in order. You know, you can technically read them out of order, it might be a bit weird at times. Then we have an interesting one, Where It All Began by Lucy Score. But this is also part of a series, and it is important to note, I looked this up on Goodreads, and there is an author's note, bold. It says, do not read this book until you've read at least Blue Moon number 3, or even better, 4. I'm protecting your reader experience here, I promise. There are things that happen that I don't want to blindside you with and murder all your feelings before you've even read the first few books in the series. So go ahead, buy it now, but do not read Where It All Began until at least after The Last Second Chance. This is really highly rated too, with a lot of ratings. That's crazy. Okay, so it seems interesting, but I find it fascinating that Target would add a book into this. The author must not have a say. Surely. That is insane. Lucy herself has told us, do not start with Where It All Began, which can be a little counterintuitive since it says Where It All Began. I'm going to trust the author on this one. Then we have Promise Me by Sarah Kate. Goodreads says it's also part of a series, the Sinful Manor series, but maybe it's also not a traditional series, similar to the Kings of Sin type thing. And then we have Fox, with 2 X's, am I right? By Paisley Hope, another series, the 3rd in the series this time, of the Soldiers of Bedlam. I'm sure it's fine, it's not a big deal, but are there not romances that are just, I don't know, I'm not a romance girly. Let me know what you think about this. Am I being too harsh on these series or these picks? Maybe I am. Okay, the next is the thriller section. Now, traditionally, thrillers aren't series, so it's rarer for a thriller to be part of a series. I'll tell you what these books are, and if you're interested, go look them up, read their descriptions, and see if you would like to read them. She Waits Where Shadows Gather by Michelle Tang. Seems interesting. The Dead Husband's Cookbook, as we saw earlier. And You Girls Play Nice. And The Whisper by Chelsea Iverson. I don't know, from my cursory look at all these, maybe the thriller recs or the thriller books seem a bit more interesting, at least to me. So we've covered Target and Walmart. Now let's get to Barnes & Noble. I've mentioned that Barnes & Noble is more on an individual store basis, so there's really not much here. I think they just do a better job. It's just a normal thing. I guess there is something to be said, like how are they picking the books? Like, is it backlog, like backstock type thing, books that don't really sell? Probably that, but I would hope that it's more of a curated pick. But I know that Barnes & Noble is still a big store, a huge company, so I don't doubt that it's probably more for business purposes. So, of course, while I'm taking a break from editing this video, I come across this one, and this is one of the things I've seen that Barnes & Noble does that is sketchy, that I don't think they should be able to do. They have these little numbers on the front, okay? And that's all that they're given. Basically, if you look, it says shake the cup, and whatever number you get is the book that you get. And I'm just like, what? What are the books that you're putting? And how are you deciding what books are going to go into these blind dates? I think this is a bad idea, and what these 2 girls do ends up being the right decision, I think, because I think this is kind of a crazy way to do it. What I've seen at the store near me is that they have the numbers, but then it has a description like normal. It's just not put or printed on the actual wrapping. It's just kind of a sign. So where that sign would be, it would be the sign of what the books are, but this is kind of nuts. What are you deciding? What are you making the decision? Obviously, they don't shake the cup or whatever. They probably just pick whatever they want, which is fine. And then they swap it and open it in the car, and they're just not interested in what the book is. I feel like with the blind date, you have to be able to narrow it down at least a little bit to have success in picking it. I just don't understand this logic whatsoever. From what I can see, these books are respectable, like they're not terrible books, but these girls didn't have any choice in what kind of genre, anything into it. So those are the books, and then they end up saying, yeah, we're taking it back. I think there's like copyright music. Yeah, we're going back to return it. And you know what? Good for you. Thank goodness they opened it in the car. Individual Barnes and Noble, you guys can screw up too. Like, let's be a bit more discerning, I think. But what I thought was hilarious in my own experience with the Barnes & Noble blind date with the book, I actually saw it on a table, and I'll show you a video of it, and they were wrapped in this pink wrapping paper. You could basically see what the cover of the book was. I thought that was so funny. I have been back to that Barnes & Noble recently, and they do put that like in brown paper bag type situation. That is the corporate edition. And I'm sure that Target will keep playing in their customers' faces moving into the festive season. You better believe that there is going to be a Christmas version of this. Just remember that it's probably not going to be Christmas books inside. Probably not. But anyways, stay tuned for the next one. I promise I'll try and get it out as soon as possible. I hope you have a good one, and joining me on this journey down the scummy corporate world of blind date with a book. You don't need it. I'm trying to de-influence you. Also, I want to draw attention to the shirt that I'm wearing today. Any F1 girlies out there? This is my new Williams t-shirt. I hope I don't get coffee on this white stripe. I will be mad. I will be pissed. Just like Lewis Hamilton this weekend. Am I right, everybody? Am I right? Okay.